One of the top cowboy stars of the 1950s was Rory Calhoun. The tall, dashing Calhoun was known as Smokey because of his jet black hair and gray eyes. In a tiny role in the Carmen Miranda musical, Something for the Boys, he made his cinematic debut in 1944. For the next 5 years, he played supporting roles. His career took off after he was signed by renowned agent Henry Wilson, who saw the potential in Calhoun's adventurous past, attractive looks, and hairy chest for westerns rather than supporting roles for leading ladies. He only had one problem. The issue was that Rock Hudson's admission of having AIDS in 1984 made it very evident that his entire persona was a sham. Hudson didn't only portray straight roles on screen. He had portrayed the epitome of macho heterosexuality, despite the fact that Hudson enjoyed having sex with guys. This lie was what started the scandal. Who else could be homosexual if Rock Hudson was? Confidential specialized in disseminating rumors about prominent Hollywood figures while ensuring the veracity of the information. They didn't identify Elizabeth Scott as a lesbian when they wrote about her. They claimed she enjoyed the company of young girls. Confidential made sexual allusions to a number of famous people, including Tab Hunter, and hired a former LAPD officer named Fred Otash to wire Rock Hudson's house. Even though Confidential was merely a gossip magazine, it had roughly 4.5 million readers in a year, and rumors about Kate Hudson's sexual orientation could spell the end of the rising star's budding career. However, the plot immediately turns, making a devil's bargain with Harrison. Wilson threatened to reveal information about two other well-known stars from his man stable if Confidential didn't publish what it knew about Hudson. Otash had access to chats in which Hudson discussed extensively his life and admitted to having sex with a male. The studios convinced Confidential not to write it and promised to provide them a Rory Calhoun story in its place. Calhoun was a minor offender, and Confidential published a piece on his covert illicit activities. But the tale strengthened Calhoun rather than weakening him. He co-starred with Betty Grable in Meet Me After the Show and Susan Hayward in I'd Climb the Highest Mountain in 1951. His career took off after he was signed by renowned agent Henry Wilson, who saw the potential in Calhoun's adventurous past, attractive looks, and hairy chest for westerns rather than supporting roles for leading females. Midway through the 1950s, Calhoun outsmarted blackmailers who threatened to make his criminal history public by telling journalists about his past, while highlighting how he had improved. He had 2 respectable daughters and was now happily married. He divorced his wife, Latin vocalist Lita Barron, in 1970. Following this, he wed the journalist Susan Langley, with whom he had 2 more children. In 1976, his second marriage ended in divorce. Click here to watch this video next.